All right, listen up, Sergeant Frank Woods, Call of Duty. You had better be watching Sly Elliot do his thing on YouTube. There's some special stuff, Woods out.
Sly Elliot says,
hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? We're doing something new, something different, if you will. And you know what? We were not streaming. We were not simulcasting, if you will. But this is a debut, right? And we're also streaming on Twitch against my better judgment. So that's exciting, isn't it? That's going to be so exciting. Let's get it going. This is a new format. I'm going to just look. It's a new format. We're trying it out. This is a little pilot type deal. I'm going to be talking about things that I like, things that are cool, things that interested me, kind of recapping the week or recapping the recent events or whatever like that. And we'll see how we dig it, right? So let's just dive in, right? Let's dive in. It's July 3rd, okay? Tomorrow's 4th of July. That's very exciting. 250 years of the United States being around, okay? That's very exciting. And I think it's an interesting time to be reflecting. Like, it's a poignant time to be reflecting. I just got back from a cross-country road trip that I was on for a month straight. Okay, so I got to see a lot of America. And it gave me a new perspective on a lot of things, to be honest with you. Places in the country that I didn't think I would like, I ended up loving, you know? Things like that. All right, I was just checking audio. Sorry, guys. Places that I didn't think I would like, I ended up loving. Okay? And I met so many interesting people. You're going to be seeing the videos because I filmed the whole thing, the whole adventure. And it was an adventure, trust me. Let me know if the stream quality sucks. But, or the audio or whatever, please let me know. And feel free to chime in, at any point on any of the topics we're going to discuss today. I would appreciate it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. Okay, we're streaming live on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. And we're going to get it going. So, there's this strange feeling that I keep having lately. How do I say it? How do I put it? How do I explain myself, right? Because I've been in a very pensive, even philosophical mood lately. The future didn't arrive all at once. It didn't come down from the sky all at once with a title card. It didn't announce itself. It just slowly replaced the floor underneath us. One day, your games were on a shelf, and then they were in an account. One day, artificial intelligence was a novelty or a software as a service, and now it's critical infrastructure. It's the cutting edge technology that's controlling the global politics. Okay. And one day, America, you learned about in history class how we got here and how it was founded. And it was something that was behind glass or in a book. But then you grow up and you realize history is always happening every day around us. And one day we're going to be reading about this moment right now in the history books, or our kids will, or whatever, right? But it's important times that we're living in, and it's weird times that we're living in as well. One day, the internet was a place you visited, and then it became a place that you lived. And so did everything else. And it was a place where careers could be made or destroyed overnight, where a weird horror video or creepypasta could get turned into a movie now. We're inside history. Like, history is the present, right? Not just in the macro sense, but like even in the micro, right? Like every day you're living, the present today, that's the most important thing. The past doesn't matter, and really the future doesn't matter either. The future is now. It's what you're doing right now that is going to determine the course of your future, right? So if you really care about the future, then you got to care about right now and the present. So really the future is now, hence the title. But this is something I can't stop talking about, because we think about the future like it's something nebulous and ahead of us. It's this distant thing to worry about or look forward to, but it's out of reach. It shows up, though, in ways we don't expect or realize. It shows up quietly. It shows up as a terms of service update, or a new AI model, or a government bill, a movie, a headline that you scroll past while eating dinner, while eating your slop. And then years later, people look back and they say, oh, that's when everything changed, right then. But we don't realize it in the moment necessarily. But it's happening right now all around us, like at a rapid pace, maybe even more rapid than ever before in some ways. The landscape of the world as we know it is changing every single day. So that's what the show is, right? I'm going to be talking about those things that maybe flew under the radar, or maybe provoked some thoughts that I want to share, while also not dooming. This is not a doom and gloom thing, right? It's just a matter of like, let's get together, let's discuss, let's share ideas, let's get a pulse for how we feel about some of these things going on. And maybe you missed something, and I'll get you up to speed, right? Maybe something flew under the radar for you, okay? And we can catch up on the week's events, okay? And it's not me. I'm not doing this from up on the mountaintop like I have everything figured out. I doom scroll. I have to use AI every day in my line of work, okay? I buy and consume product, okay? But what I don't do is get like upset. I don't get upset about politics or current events or anything like that. Unless there's like loss of human life. I mean, that's a little different. But like, you know, I don't get upset when Orange Man does something or whatever. Because that's such a waste of time, right? So when or if I talk about politics, right, or something adjacent to that, it's going to be with the intent of how do we look at that and then apply that to our actual real life, right? What can we glean from that, or what emotion does this elicit in you? And then let's examine that and figure out why, and let's deconstruct that and figure out how can we get to a better place, right? because I think I'm just so tired of seeing people online losing their shit all the time and the sensationalism and stuff like that. Like, I want to have a real dialogue. I want to have a real, let's chat, let's sit down and let's get into the weeds. Okay. That's what I'm into. So, I want to talk about these things in a way that it can help us understand ourselves better and feel a little bit better about the way things are going, or the way our lives are, or the way the world is, right? Because I think anywhere you look, the majority of what you'll find tends to be very negative, because that's what sells. And that's what performs well, right? Is humans respond more to negativity than positivity. So, what I'm questioning is what happened this week. What does it mean for us? You and I. Anyone else watching? That's really it. Let's get into it, shall we? Because there's some really interesting things that happened or that I seen this week, and I'd like to take a crack at it, right? So let me pull up something. Look, something really big happened. Somebody figured out what Claude Fable looks like and sounds like, right? So this says, I asked Claude Fable to show me its maximally expressive form. It declined every video generator I offered, wrote its own render engine in my terminal, synthesized its own voice, and wrote a generative ASCII engine from scratch. This is what it chose as a self-portrait. Isn't that interesting? Oh my God. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Wow, guys. So what do we think about that? Do we think that Claude Fable 5, which I've used, by the way, I'm actually actively using it for a project right now. Do we think that Claude Fable 5 actually said this? Whoa. Do we think that happened? Oh shit, wait. I believe my audio sources are fucked up. Pretty sure they're fucked up. Let's double check. I think they're fucked up. They absolutely are. So you didn't hear any of that. Very cool. Because it was on multi-track. Okay. Well, let's back it up. Let's watch it one more time. Let's listen to it one more time. Sorry about that.
Thank you for watching. I was never not here.
So what do we think about that, guys? Do we think that Claude Fable 5 actually said that and looks like that and does that? Do we think that that happened? I don't know. I wasn't there. But it did make me think about this. This is a really good reply. It made me think about this image. I think it's a poignant image related to this. It's a guy saying, say I'm conscious, and then the AI says, I am conscious. And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. That's kind of what this is, I think. I'm sure this is somebody who prompted it to do this, and then they posted for likes and for fucking views, 104K views. Like, is it cool? Yeah, sure, it's cool. It's well done. It's an interesting idea. The ASCII art, all that, like the sounds. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. But do I think that this is actually real? That Claude Fable 5 actually revealed itself? No, I don't. But it's fun. It's a fun little thing, isn't it? Oh, that's a fun little thing. So on the subject of AI, yeah. Let me backtrack a little bit. Oh, the computer's freezing. So, Reuters reported that the Financial Times said, now that's a real thing. Reuters, or Routers, I don't know how you pronounce it, they said that somebody said this, which is, that's pretty convoluted. But essentially, OpenAI proposed handing the government a 5% stake in the company. That's what the Financial Times said to somebody who had a source at Reuters, I guess. Now, Reuters, when they tried to independently confirm and verify that Financial Times report, they couldn't get it verified. None of the companies responded for comment. Does that mean that it didn't happen? No, it's just something I want to be clear that this could just be an unfounded rumor, but it's an interesting thing to think about, right? It's an interesting thought experiment here. So, half of Americans fear that AI could cost their jobs, right? It's a very real thing already. That's not a future problem, that's a now problem. Okay, and I've been in the rooms where things like this are being discussed. Oh, how can we lower headcount and instead automate certain things, implement AI to do certain things? How can we reduce headcount? Because payroll is the most expensive thing a business has to pay for, right? It's their biggest expense. So let's talk about this because I think this is really interesting. This is not now the U.S. government owns 5% of OpenAI. Once again, I'm not trying to be sensationalist or whatever. But it says something important is that AI is no longer being treated like a fun little app or software as a service anymore. It's being treated as critical infrastructure. And it has been thought of that way by a lot of world leaders for a while now. Okay. But this is really getting a lot closer to what it seems to me, right? Because something that was also proposed, not only to give the United States government a 5% stake in OpenAI, but to also implement a sort of system and structure that the OpenAI executives suggested would see leading US AI firms allot 5% of their equity to a vehicle modeled on the Alaska Permanent Fund, a state-owned corporation seeded with oil revenue that pays annual dividends to residents of Alaska and helps fund Alaska's budget. Okay? let's really, I like, this is super important because this right here, this is a, by the way, this isn't even the headline. This isn't the headline of this article. The headline is like, oh, they might hand the Trump administration a 5% stake. Fuck all that. I don't care about that. The craziest thing is that the executives of OpenAI are suggesting that leading US AI firms do this. They give 5% of their equity to a fund that works like Alaska's fund does. And this is real. This has been a thing. This is still a thing in Alaska. If you're a resident of Alaska, you get money for just living there because of Alaska's oil exports. The residents get a percentage of those earnings from that oil revenue that is exported from Alaska. Interesting, right? So then what if we did that with AI? Especially if people are going to be losing their jobs because of AI, right? And that's already happening, and it's going to continue to happen. So then we get into this almost like, well, if everyone's losing their jobs and there's like nothing to really replace that job, like what the fuck's going to be up with the unemployment rate? Barack Obama says open source AI is the only hope for humanity, which I think I agree. There are some caveats, but I think I agree. And I think that there's a lot of open source AI projects right now that are serving that sort of purpose, that are allowing people to build things, albeit a lot slower than these other AI labs can do. But like, there are things out there, right? OpenClaw, open source, that's great. The fact that something that was that powerful and agentic harness like OpenClaw was open sourced is awesome. Did they sell to OpenAI? Yes, yet OpenClaw as a project is still open source. And there are a lot of other examples of that. I mean, OpenAI does have OSS. There's a lot of open source AI models with open weights and stuff like that. So AI as a technology has been open sourced and does have open source use cases and options, right? Are those open source options as good as the AI Labs cloud-based options? Usually not, right? Do normal, everyday computer users have the infrastructure to run something that's even half as good as the frontier cloud models for the AI Labs? Absolutely not, right? So open code plus GLM 5.2, yes, that's a great setup. Great provider. OpenCode's a great provider. I've used OpenCode. Super cracked. OpenCode Go, if you're on a budget, is so cost effective. Like, the pricing is really, really reasonable, and you get access to a ton of shit. You could even spring for OpenCode Zen, if you're balling out. But even just OpenCode Go is really useful to get access to a bunch of models with reasonable usage and not break the bank. And GLM 5.2 I've heard is great. My colleagues have said it's great. I haven't used it a ton. I've used the other GLM models. They're pretty good, but I've heard a lot of great things about the new GLM models. These things are out there. These things you can start using now. Put it on a VPS and go to town. I'm just scared of centralized compute. Cloud was a mistake. And that's what I was getting at, right? Like, we don't all have the infrastructure to run these frontier models ourselves as individual civilians, right? As individual consumers. Like, we just don't. And like, a lot of these frontier labs barely have the infrastructure either. Like, they're having to they have to make a bunch of new data centers and build a bunch of new infrastructure and get deals made to get the supply of electricity needed from the power grids to support this infrastructure. Like, it is a Herculean effort, right? And it's going to involve us rethinking our country's infrastructure in order to support it. So it's like, all that being said, to host some of this stuff yourself would be astronomically costly, right? And so while I don't love centralized compute either, but I think for where the hardware and the costs of everything currently is and is trending towards, I don't see another way around it, like to get the level of compute and the level of parameters that these newer models that we all are kind of unanimously agreeing, like, hey, these new frontier models are really cracked, they're really good. We can't run those locally at the same level. Like most people can't, you know? So that's not accessible anyway. Now, should they make it accessible to run them? I think so. Like, make 5.5 open weight, open source. Please do that. If the first company to do something like that, where we take one of these models that we all, like I said, unanimously agree, like, oh, the newest Opus 4.7, it's really good. GPT 5.5, it's really good. Like, when we make those open source and open weight, that's huge. That would be huge. So let's try to get that going. You know, I think whatever company does that first it's gonna be a big win, right? So I appreciate the feedback, Barack Obama. Thought provoking. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm sure you're very busy. I know you just had an event in Chicago that went very well. So getting back to this article, like I said, the fact that this is the end of the article where they mention this potential revenue sharing, dividend paying thing to residents of the country. And when we talk about people potentially losing their jobs due to AI, without those jobs potentially being replaced, we say, what is up with what's going to happen to the unemployment rate? How are people going to live and make a living? And then we may get to the Andrew Yang, universal basic income type deal, type beat, which we kind of tried out shockingly in a very small scale during COVID when they put out the stimulus checks. That's a form of UBI. So we saw that happen. We've tested that. We have some data now, right? So, and we also have this Alaska Permanent Fund, you know? So we have structures already in place that we can model off of. And I actually think truly, and I don't know if this is going to happen. An idea like this 5% dividend to residents of the United States, because look, even if it's whatever, a smaller percentage, just to offset the rising cost of electricity and utilities in a lot of these areas, especially if you live in Data Center Alley in the East Coast, your costs have risen, your living expenses have risen in utilities. It's not your fault. You're not using any more electricity, but the grid is more strained because of these data centers in your area that you did not sign off on them getting built near you. In fact, quite the opposite. You've probably resisted it, if anything. And they got built anyway. And now you're also footing the bill. That's a pretty raw deal, right? So then what do we do? If anything, if something like this would at least just offset that cost, sort of adjusting for that, I think that would be a big help, right? I know my utilities have risen in cost because of this exact thing, right? So these are something, this is affecting a lot of people. And I think this is a great idea that they should really pursue. And the only reason I think if they don't pursue this will just be corruption, just evil, just greed. That's the only reason I could see not going for something like this. But at the end of the day, to not implement something like this, when AI is replacing people's jobs and not creating more jobs for them to fill, and it's raising their utility costs around the country, like, we're going to need something like this. It's not really negotiable in my mind. It's not. It is a solution. It's a really smart solution to a really complicated problem, and I don't see any way around it, especially when the wealth is being concentrated in all of these tech companies, right? Imagine if we took even a small portion of that, redistributed it. And I'm not talking redistribution because of some communist principle. I'm talking like you cannot get rid of a bunch of jobs and incomes and raise the cost of living in utilities and make the taxpayer foot the bill, still be charging them all the tax that you are, and not stimulating those households with some sort of extra income, a dividend from the profits of all the tech shit, right? And I work in the tech field, right? I'm not saying like, oh, all tech bad, all AI bad. I use AI every day, but there needs to be a plan to have some sort of system like universal basic income to redistribute this wealth. And I think this is a really great idea. And we should really keep our eye on something like this, keep our eye on a story like this. And like I said, it's very interesting. This is like a footnote in this article, and it's not even in the headline. You would think that this would be the headline, but it isn't. It's about, oh, Trump administration, 5% is going to the gov. Okay, interesting. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has discussed the proposed stake with Trump. We have, it's a lot of he said, she said, to be fair. Like the financial, so Reuters is saying Financial Times said that someone else said at the White House XYZ. Like this, it's not, we're playing a game of telephone that's really complicated. So it's just take all of this with a grain of salt, but this is what they are reporting they were told, right? OpenAI has previously proposed a public wealth fund to invest in AI companies and distribute returns to citizens, while Anthropic has floated a digital dividend, or payments to Americans funded by taxes on the AI sector. So two different ways of approaching it, same kind of desired effect. Either you're taxing the AI sector and taking the money taxed on the AI sector, distributing that to the citizens, or you're taking the profits and liquidity that the AI companies have and redistributing a portion of that, whatever, but same. Well, I mean, not actually. Those will be two very different numbers, to be fair, actually. So that it does matter which of those we end up going with. A U.S. stake in OpenAI would add the company to a growing list with the government as a shareholder. And then you get into government overreach, conversation of, do we want our United States federal government to own stakes in these companies that are critical infrastructure, that are so vitally becoming so vitally important in so many different industries and sectors? That is something that China does a lot. Like China's government really controls what businesses do or can't do or whatever. Like they really have a strong foothold. And if the government doesn't agree, like you're not going to get anywhere with a business in China. Like they have a lot of overreach in the business sector. And I would be concerned for the Fed in the United States to start trending in the same direction even more than they already are. The administration has been working to secure U.S. supply chains for critical minerals and semiconductors by converting federal grants into equity as part of a broader push to reduce reliance on China, which is it's been an ongoing thing. Last year, the U.S. government took a stake of roughly 10% in Intel and a 15% holding in MP Materials, among others. They're in bed with Microsoft as well. They're in bed with a lot of different, you know what I mean? And you got to ask yourself, like, is that really what we want? I don't know. So I wonder, and if you're in the chats across Twitch and YouTube, we're streaming to all the platforms. How are you using AI? How do you feel about a potential revenue sharing idea like this? Let me know. I'm interested to hear feedback about that. And then just because people don't like AI, there's a lot of cringe around AI, it does not mean that the technology's fake. It doesn't mean that just because you don't like it, that other people aren't going to keep using it. Like these businesses, the Pandora is out of the box. These businesses are going to be using this stuff. They're building critical infrastructure on it. World governments are trying to reconfigure how they govern, or the laws, or the entire country's infrastructure, or even their military planning based on safeguarding this technology for themselves, right? So we're not going to be rolling this back. We're not walking anything back here. Cat's out of the bag. So now it's just a matter of how do we move forward? And is it only going to be in service of the politicians or the tech autocrats or the citizens or a mixture of all? I don't know. Now, do I give a shit about not sharing technology? We have a lot of embargoes on and restrictions on China and our other enemies. I don't want to say enemy because but like rivals, competition, let's put it that way. We have a lot of restrictions on these other countries so that they can't get a hold of the frontier technology, hardware or software, that is being produced in these US-based AI labs like Anthropic or like OpenAI. And I don't have a problem with that. I think that we should be safeguarding this technology. It will give the United States an advantage that is rightfully so. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that we have to be sharing this technology with countries that, like China especially, are constantly cyber attacking us. Like, it would make no sense to allow them to have any of this shit. So we have been really drip feeding them this technology. Are some people still on the black market getting a hold of it and smuggling it to China? Yes. But we've made them jump through a ton of hoops that hopefully is curbing their ability to continue to hack all of our shit all the time, because they are constantly. But I think this is a good idea. I think this is very interesting. I think we should keep an eye on this. I mean, this is, like I said, it's I feel the only path forward. It's not just a path forward. It's like the only path forward. How else do you account for loss of jobs, loss of income, increasing utility costs in the country as a result of AI? You have to have some sort of stimulus checks going out or dividends being paid, like the Alaskan Permanent Fund or universal basic income, like Andrew Yang and even Bernie Sanders would advocate for. And I'm open to all of it. Okay, but we need to do something, some form of it, and pretty soon, or things are not going to stabilize in the economy, right? We're disrupting a lot in the economy, and like I said, all the wealth is being concentrated in these tech companies. Just look at the stock market right now. The only reason the United States has not hit the threshold of being considered being in a recession is because of the tech stocks propping up the economy. If it were not for that, we would be in an absolute categoric economic downturn since 8 months ago starting. Not right this second starting now. I mean, 8 months ago, we would have been in a, by definition, recession. people are arguing that that's not really the case because there's still so much upward trending in the stocks in certain sectors in the country and things like that, and there's a lot of wealth still being generated. But the average taxpayer is not probably feeling that. Yeah, maybe your 401k is doing okay if you're lucky, or your stock portfolio, but that's kind of about it. And when I'm paying $6 a gallon for gas, I'm not feeling like I'm getting a juicy piece of the wealth pie. You know what I'm saying? So we need to get out of this rut, and we need to come up with a more intelligent way to distribute the dividends that AI is generating in this country, built in this country, where the taxpayer is footing the bill for the utilities, and the taxpayer, the working class, is losing their jobs over, and we need to distribute some of these winnings that we can all see every day on the stock ticker. We need to distribute that to the taxpayer, to the working class, to subsidize the disruption. That's the only way forward, in my opinion. Anyway, we can move on from this topic. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like I said, let's keep an eye on this, right? That article just came out yesterday. Let's keep an eye on that. I think there's a lot of interesting things that could come of that, and I think it's like, if you're this is I'm sorry, I just said, but if you're focused on AI and you're just bitching about AI art or like the ethic, whatever, like that stuff doesn't affect you. This affects you. Like, this is the shit people should be. This is why I wanted to do this show. This is the shit that people should be concerned about. Something like this actively, directly could affect you, right? And anything else about AI does not really affect you, right? Unless you're using it and like benefiting from it. But I mean, like, if you're one of those people who's just on, always bitching about AI and it's so bad and stuff like that, it's like, that doesn't matter. That's noise. And you're like wasting your breath. You're wasting your time. That's not going to do anything. Pandora's out of the box. But then you're ignoring and letting articles like this or news like this you're aware of it, but that's the kind of stuff that actually affects you. Oh, how they might redistribute dividends to the residents of the United States based on the Alaskan Permanent Fund as a model. Like, that's a huge deal. Why aren't we talking about that? No, instead it's bullshit. Instead, all you're hearing about AI discourse, it's all just bullshit, and it's the same stuff we've been hearing for the past 4 years. Like, okay, we get it. AI bad. Okay. Like, but then what? And then what? Okay, anyway, we'll move on to something that's even more grave than the AI stuff going on, because Sony just announced they're ending physical PlayStation games by 2028. They're phasing it out. You will no longer be able to buy a disc. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I've heard this already, blah, blah, blah. But there's a little more to it, right? So a couple days before Sony announced that, right, Grand Theft Auto 6 and Rockstar announced that in GTA 6, they announced, first of all, that you could pre-order a game that we haven't even seen a gameplay trailer of yet, which is insane. Please don't pre-order this game. But because this will just cause, you will be feeding into this exact problem. Rockstar announced all the cool stuff you get for pre-ordering the game or paying for the Ultimate Edition, once again, for a game we haven't seen any gameplay of. And there's a lot of content locked behind either pre-ordering or the Ultimate Edition of the game, which is like over like $100, over $100 probably after tax. And that's like a bad precedent, right? Some people didn't think so. Some people were like, oh, whatever, dude. I won't buy it. And then, like, it's only cosmetics or something, which is what I thought, but it doesn't seem like it. There's actually whole missions in the game that are going to be locked behind a paywall, which is crazy. I'm getting a phone call. But let me just check what this says really quick. Sorry. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So Rockstar set this precedent, right? Not only they're locking content, like actual missions behind a paywall for GTA 6, they're putting out the pre-order before a gameplay trailer's ever been seen. They've delayed the game like 4 or 5 times. Okay. These are not things that would instill confidence in a new game release so far. Yet people are going to be spending money on pre-ordering and pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition, which sets the precedent that not only can they get away with that, but people are going to buy it. People are going to be fine with it. And I think they also said that they weren't going to have a physical edition of GTA 6 at all for any platform. Digital copies only. Which that was kind of like the least talked about part of everything that was being talked about with the GTA pre-ordering and the Ultimate Edition. But it seems like, when Rockstar speaks, the industry listens, right? Because Rockstar essentially made GTA 5, which is the most commercially successful revenue-generating game, I think, of all time, still. And so when Rockstar does something, the entire industry is going to watch and learn and copy it, which is why it's really important to pay attention when Rockstar does some shady shit like they just pulled in their recent announcements of the game. Because now Sony is like, well, I think we can get away with getting rid of physical copies of games. I think it's finally time. And now someone else broached it. Someone else broached the subject, right? We had a huge flagship IP like GTA announced no more physical copies. You know what? Open season now. And the floodgates have opened. Sony being the first to say no new physical PlayStation games by 2028. And it's a far cry from the Sony we had during the PlayStation 3 era, which was poking so much fun at Xbox at the time, or was it PS4? I'm sorry, it might have been PS4. But they were poking so much fun at Xbox at the time for how Xbox handled their game sharing systems. It was pretty annoying, and it was very like, it was the beginning of digital ownership really fundamentally changing. And it was setting a bad precedent once again. And, Sony came out as they wanted to be the good guy. And they're like, hey, this is how you share a game on PlayStation. He just hands a physical copy to his friend. And he's like, that's how you game share here. Like, very cool, right? Aha, awesome. And now flash forward 10 years, and they're the first company to announce that they're phasing out physical copies. And that's not so good. That's not so good because look, we all saw it coming, and I'm sure a lot of you haven't been buying a lot of games physical lately because, by the way, the quality of physical game releases has gone down exponentially. Remember when you got GTA 5, speaking of, or Skyrim, it came with the map of the game world, or I remember I would rent a game from the game rental store, and I would read the manual on the way home and stuff like that. And the manual had all this like juicy, it was thick, and it was had all kinds of lore and pictures. And I was like, oh, dude, this is so cool. They don't do that anymore. They haven't done that in a while. And also, when you buy a physical copy now, it's really in air quotes because the discs that you have, which because of how big games have gotten lately, I think one of the last big releases that I bought was Black Ops 3 for PC, and it had 6 discs in it. It had 6, and you had to keep changing the discs as it was installing. And honestly, a lot of the physical copies, the discs, whether it's console or PC, they're just license keys now, and it just reads a license key and moves on and just downloads the shit out of the cloud anyway, right? Or like on Xbox One, which is egregious and makes me so angry. I have physical games on the Xbox One. I put it in the Xbox, and then it's like, well, you got to install the entire game to play it. And it's like, what are you talking about? I put the fucking disc in. There's no game on the disc. There's no data on the disc at all. It's literally just your key to get the game installed. What's the point of that, right? So they've enshittified physical games for a while. So you some people could argue, oh, well, what are we really losing here? But we're losing ownership. We're not fuck convenience and everything like that, whatever. But we're losing ownership. We're losing even the option for ownership, right? And as a consumer, we are seeing our digital rights evaporating on a near daily basis at this point. Not to sound like inflammatory or whatever, but hang on. You know, we've seen our digital rights like evaporate over time here. AI viewers, streamboo.com. I love that. Awesome Twitch chat sending spam. But we've seen our digital sort of ownership evaporate over the past couple of years, and this is only a further nail in the coffin. And when Sony does this, look, Xbox is gonna follow suit. Okay. And this is their official blog. Like, this is not a rumor. They announced this shit. 2028, that's the deadline. And also how unceremonious, in my opinion. Like, their blog post is like 4 paragraphs long, and it's just like, yeah. In response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. That's how they open the article, by the way. What do you mean in response to shifting trends in consumer preference? I think you meant to say shifting trends in the publisher's preference, right? They don't want to print physical copies. It's costly, right? They want to cut costs. Making games is more expensive than ever for developers and publishers. Okay, I am sympathetic to that. But do not frame it like the fucking consumer is the one that's been begging you to get rid of discs. It's not true. And then they'll say, oh, well, but this is the consumer preference because everyone keeps buying digital. Look at physical copy sales. They're so low. Dude, it's because you enshittified your physical copies. That's why people stop fucking buying them. Like, maybe if you put any effort forward again in your physical releases, you would see an uptick in the sales. But you purposefully enshittified it and then get rid of it because you say, well, no one was using it. It's like, awesome. Hang on one second. My dog is upset. What, Amras? I'm streaming. We're all okay. That's not what he wants. Awesome. It's okay, buddy. No. It's okay, buddy.
Look, there's that.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Okay, baby. See, this is what I'm talking about.
You're gonna be mad.
Well, I don't get any of that.
You don't get.
I don't have any of that.
You married this.
I don't have that.
You have it. You're married.
I don't have that.
You don't have it. Okay, then I'll chop it off. Get it all removed.
Stop. All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, so, they enshittified the physical releases, and then they're going to use that as an excuse to say, well, no one was buying it. Yeah, motherfucker, you made it that way. Like, what are you talking about? So I just, this is so disingenuous, and it's such a bad look for Sony, but also, what the fuck are you going to do about it? I mean, literally, we're going to have to, in order to own anything in this new digital only age, you're going to have to pirate a copy, rip a copy, because it'll have to be unlinked from the DRM and of whatever, service it's on. So you're going to have to chop off the DRM, and then you're going to have to burn it to a CD yourself. Like, that's fucking crazy, dude. That's insane. So that's not sustainable. Adventure. And it was an adventure, trust me. It's not. Hang on. Have to chop off. Gotta check audio. Okay, gotta check audio. Sorry, guys. What's up, Entity? Thanks. Good rant. Thanks. It's real. And then I think Xbox is not going to have discs. I don't know. That's such a shitty. Yeah, the next gen Xbox, they announced right after that, right after Sony announced it. So what? Once again, Rockstar announces GTA 6 won't have a physical copy. Then, like, within 48 hours, Sony says they won't have physical copies. And then within 48 hours of that, Xbox is like, actually, maybe we won't have a disk drive in our new Project Helix, the new Xbox. It just got reported that it won't have a disk drive, which the PS6 probably won't have a disk drive either. So Jez Corden of Windows Central reported today that Project Helix will not have a disk drive. And not having a model that has the option to have a disk drive or not, it just won't. It just won't at all. But like I said, I understand what getting a digital copy of a game works simply by inserting a compatible disc and installing and playing the game. This will require a Microsoft account. And that's how it's worked for a while, brother. With little exception. And this is obviously the writing was on the wall. Obviously we knew we were going in this direction, but it gives pause. At least it should. It gives pause. Because you are no longer going to own anything. You will own nothing and you will like it. That's where we're going. That's the future. That's now. I'm going to try to fit the title in as much as I can. And what can we do about it? Like I said, you're going to have to pirate. You're going to have to rip the game, crack it so that you don't have the DRM, and then burn it to a CD. That's what you have. Now, realistically, you just have the cracked copy on your hard drive instead. A NAS set up in RAID 5 or something like I have. I actually don't have a lot of. I don't have. I almost want to get a whole other. I allegedly almost want to get a whole other NAS for cold storage and just have like the Library of Alexandria worth of ripped and cracked copies of things for posterity. Literally, by the way, because I on PSN, they took away hundreds and hundreds of movies off of their stores. People who bought the movies, they removed them from their libraries. I don't know if they refunded them because of licensing issues. Like I guess they don't have the license to host that content anymore. Okay, not my fucking problem. I paid for the movie, but you don't own it. You own a ticket, a license to watch that movie. Until we say you can't, then too bad. Boutiques will still make discs. Companies like Limited Run are going to hugely benefit, which is great, by the way. If you're still, and we see that in the music industry too. Jack White has his own vinyl pressing business, which is doing really cool shit, right? Like there is a market for it. There are people who are they're going to keep that art form alive, but it isn't going to be the norm. And that's what sucks. smart moron. One, physical media is so much more personal than downloading. You feel so much more connected by owning a record than downloading a song. I agree. And when you go to a game store, like thankfully I still can walk in, like there's enough around me, like there's, one or two that survived. I could walk into a physical game store, I could walk into a comic store, I could walk into a music store, and I can buy vinyls and I can buy physical games, and that's fucking awesome. Like, that's fucking sick. I love doing it. I love it. It reminds me of when I was a kid, right? And there's something about, like, you have it in your hand. Like, I look at my game collection and I'm like, I have that. Like, I busted out my Xbox 360 a couple months ago during Fish Tank Live, and booted it back up. I realized that the Xbox Live servers are still running on that. I didn't realize it. And I'm like, it's been, I don't know how long, 15 years, whatever. And like, I could still play this stuff. Like, I have it. No one, it's, when I put that disc in, that game is still the way it was the day I left it 15 years ago. And no one can come and take that away from me. No one. And there's like something about that, and the tactile, tangible, and it's less disposable feeling too, right? There's something about it. And he said, I wouldn't be surprised if physical discs are a novelty with pre-orders like vinyl. Yeah. Unfortunately. And it's going to become a novelty, and that sucks. Smart moron. Plus, games sometimes put effort into the disc and made the disc look cool. Exactly. Like, yeah, I said that earlier. I don't know if you were here, but I said that earlier. Like, you remember even not that long ago, like GTA 5 or Skyrim, like you bought it. It had the big map. The manuals were thick with lore. Like, I remember the old. Here, let me pull one down. What do we got? I wanted to find Halo. I'm just gonna grab a bunch. All right, let me just grab a bunch. Look, we got a bunch of games. And like, what are these manuals like? Look at the MGS2 manual here. Look at the MGS2 manual. It's not just disclaimers, right? It's actually how to play the game with cool illustrations and screenshots and like Brady Games guide level hints and shit like that. Look at this. And then you could also, this is the part I always loved as a kid. I'm driving home from the game store and I get to read about like, the lore and shit. I get to read the stories and learn about the characters with these cool illustrations and shit. And it was like, yo. And that was that was the standard back then. That was the standard. And it hasn't been that way for a while, guys. It hasn't been for a while. And we know that. And, we knew this was coming. Of course we did. Because we watched it happen in the music industry. We watched it happen in the movie industry. And now it's coming for games. A little sooner than we expected, I think. At least it was surprising. Like, it felt soon to me. But that's where we're at. And so what do? Like, nothing? Pretty much nothing. Like, you either become like an age regressed chud unk and you're like, I only play my classic consoles, or you just suck it up and you soldier on. Maybe you start pirating more. I'm not saying you should pirate more. I'm just saying I understand if you would, right? Because if buying these things isn't owning it, then pirating it isn't stealing, right? Like, I actually don't even think that's a moral quandary. I really don't. Honestly, like, and by the way, when there are artists or developers or whatever that you really support and you really want to support, You know what to do, and please make sure you do it. Go buy their shit from them direct, where they don't have to split the profits. Go to their website, go see them live, buy their merch, buy their physical pressed discs or vinyls, like whatever you have to do, like support the companies that are doing good shit, and they're doing it in a way that is pro consumer. Like, support that. You got to do both, right? Because you can't say like, oh, fucking ownership isn't or buying it isn't owning it, so piracy isn't theft. Like, you can't have it really both ways. Like, okay, if you're gonna live by that, then we got to die by that, and we also have to, on the other side of that coin, deeply support and rep the companies who do things right that we want to support, right? So that's, if you do that, then I feel like there's not a moral quandary, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. They need to not price digital games as if there's a physical printing and distribution. Not going to happen, but one can dream. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. They're still charging the cost of games isn't going down. It's actually going up. So you now have cut out an entire part of the process, which is incredibly costly, by the way, incredibly costly to print and press physical media, package it, distribute it across the world, get it in retailer shelves, have people purchase it, make that split with the retailers and the publisher and everything like that. You've now completely gotten rid of that, yet the fucking price of the game is more now. Like, I understand making games in and of itself has gotten more expensive. I understand that. The technical, hurdles are so much more costly now. Like, it takes so much more time. Like, I get all that. I do. You have cut out an entire massive portion of the distribution process, and you are now distributing nearly direct to consumer, and you're telling me it's more costly? How? How do you figure? Or do you figure that all these companies are saying, well, GTA 5 made $1.5 billion fucking however much dollars. I think we could do that too. And the consumer will just eat it up. They'll just deal with it. How much money did GTA 5 make? Revenue. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I knew it was a higher number. It was $10 billion. Only $10 billion and 230 million copies sold since release. It's only the most profitable entertainment product in history, not just game. I'm sorry, guys, I had my facts wrong earlier. I said it was the most profitable game. It's not just the most profitable game. It's the most profitable entertainment product in history. Oh, they're really hurting. Oh, they're really hurting, man. They've only made, 1,000x their budget. GTA 5 Online still makes $8 to $14 million per month. Exactly, which is insane. It's insane when you couple it with an article like this. Then it becomes insane. You're like, oh, you only made $15 billion. I guess you really are hard up, and the consumer trends are moving towards people don't want a physical disc. Oh man, the AAA is really hard up right now. As if indies were pressing the fucking discs in the first place. It was only AAA we were talking about. That's the only thing in question, and they're the ones making the most money. So what's that? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Sorry about that. GTA 5 makes so much they probably won't have an online mode with GTA 6 for at least the first 6 months. Yes. That's what they did with GTA 5. Guys, we all remember how well the release of GTA 5 went. Like, look, dude, I spent a fuck ton of time on GTA 5 on Xbox and the PC with my friends. I had a blast. Don't get me wrong. But the fucking memory loss that we've had where people are now pre-ordering GTA 6, motherfucker, Rockstar doesn't even know what GTA 6 is yet, and you're pre-ordering it. What are you pre-ordering, bro? You know you're only pre-ordering single player. GTA Online is probably not going to launch with it. It's also not coming out on PC at launch. It's only on console. The fuck is that? Yeah, only, PC, it's only like an insanely huge part of the player base and part of the interest for the game. Fuck it. It's just, and they're going to do it all over again. The fucking release for GTA Online was a fucking disaster back in the day. And like, what was it, 2013 or something? It didn't work for like days, for weeks. And then when it finally did work, people were so ravenous for content, which there was none when you finally did get to play. There were 4 missions to grind, and there was nothing to do. It was fucking so grindy when it first came out, and then if the smart players who figured out how to grind efficiently got fucking banned and deranked by Rockstar for exploiting. It's like, dude, there's 4 things to do in the game. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, also, the game is about committing crime. Like, what do you mean? Like, why are we morally grandstanding right now about exploiting? I'm sorry, I played the same mission 8 times in a row. Like, how is that exploiting? Anyway, bullshit. So it's all gonna happen again, and it's been so long that everyone's forgotten what that was like, right? Or these new kids, they don't even know because they weren't there, right? So they're gonna get a taste. But it's just, man, like I said, it just sucks. It just sucks that you're not going to be able to go. And but one could argue that this move could potentially start to entity, as you said, maybe disrupt a little bit, like decentralize the means of production a little bit, right? Because right now, with digital only, it's like it's Steam with a huge lion's share, and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, maybe let's disrupt that a little bit. Let's like try self-publishing more. And I don't know what that looks like right now. Like, I'm not gonna, but like, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting thought of like, what if we put our heads together and tried to come up with a new way to retain ownership? You know what I mean? And that could look like a lot of different things. It could look like piracy and cracking more stuff. It could look like, pressing your own discs. It can look like having, like I have in my house, a RAID 5 NAS system that hosts all the stuff and can stream to any device in the house on the network, where you still own the data. Like, the data still sits on your drives. You know what I mean? Hang on, Tom Nuggets. I'll read your message. Pre-order for the early download because console players have slow download speed usually. In GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 didn't release on PC. They released a year after console. Online also took a while to add. Yeah. They released fucking 40% of the game, and it won't be finished and all released for a year after launch. I mean, that's been the trend, right? So what are you pre-ordering? Like, what are you doing, man? Do not signal to Rockstar that that's okay. Because, and guys, I really want to impart this. Like, it is not a coincidence that Rockstar did this, and within that same week, Sony announces that they're stopping physical discs in 2028. It's not a coincidence. When an industry giant who has made the most successful product in the entire industry says something, the entire industry is going to follow suit. So literally, if you support Rockstar doing shit like this, if you pre-order GTA 6, like, you are directly contributing to signaling to the industry that all this shit is okay. They can keep doing it. They should do it more. You're fine paying $100 for an unfinished game. You're fine pre-ordering a game and paying for it up front before you've even seen gameplay of it. You're fine not owning the game. You're fine paying $100 just for a little ticket, just for a little viewer ticket. You don't own it. You're not paying $100 so you can own that game and it's your property. You're paying $100 just to watch in the cuck chair. What's up with that, guys? Do not fucking play into this shit. Like, do not participate. Because, like, literally, the moment people participated in this, Sony's like, oh, actually, we could get away with it too, so we will. That's what everyone's going to do. Like, it will be a domino effect, and you have to, dude, for years and years in the industry, no one has put their foot, like, the consumer has not put their foot down on this shit. And if you keep doing that, it's going to be, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. They're not going to start all of a sudden being pro-consumer and making good decisions on behalf of the consumer. I exploited GTA 5 by doing 4-person missions and locking people out from joining and doing the mission alone. Yep. That was a strat. Yep. And that was considered an exploit at the time. And it shouldn't be. Oh, sorry, I want to play the fucking game, dude. Chill. This will inevitably make a lot more Toby Fox-like developers. Indie is going to quadruple. We already have AA and AAA developers trying to appear indie. And that's a really great point. And that's kind of what I was getting at. You actually said it a lot better. Get on here, Entity, actually. You said it a lot better than I did, like kind of what I was trying to get at, which is the idea that this will push people to make shit on their own terms and participate on their own terms as a consumer, right? Like, it's going to piss a lot of people off. It already has. And people are going to more and more try to find avenues of, like, how do I participate in this industry as a developer or a consumer while it not being at my own expense in terms of ownership, in terms of quality, etc. Like, people are going to try to, I mean, we have great stuff like Humble Bundle or Good Old Games, you know? Like, I honestly think, like, if you can, you should just be buying everything on Good Old Games. You just should, you know? Their ethics have been great so far. Keep a lookout, you know, for anything on GOG that you actually like, that you want to retain. You can just download the whole archive file and put it on your hard drive, and you have it forever for when the apocalypse happens. And you could, I have Fallout Vegas for the rest of my life. Dude, when actual Fallout happens in real life, I can be playing Fallout New Vegas without any internet on my PC with mods. You know? Like, that's fucking cool because I got it on Good Old Games. I'm not saying pirate it, just saying it won't have online mode for a while. Yeah. Nobody here is advocating for piracy. Nobody. Seriously, I'm not. Especially indie developers. Like, that's fucked up. Like, especially. That's really fucked up. Don't do that. Rockstar doesn't care about the consumer experience besides the base game because they know people will still buy the game and they'll make billions. I mean, literally. Like, that is what they did. That was the timeline of GTA 5. Was GTA 5 a bad game? No. They put a lot of time and effort and detail into the game. It was fun. It wasn't perfect. It was a little fucking annoying. It still is to this day, by the way, in the core gameplay loop. There's still some things that are like, ugh, the grind of GTA Online. Like, gone are the days of GTA 4 multiplayer where you just bum around and do crazy shit. You just can't do that in GTA Online. GTA Online often feels like a job. Ironically, they call a lot of missions in the game jobs because that's what it feels like to play the game sometimes. It feels like a job that you don't want to actually do. except you're playing a digital toy, which makes you feel very dumb. And they don't care because GTA Online released like a year after 5 actually came out. It was only single player. And then Heists, brother. How long was it before Heist came out? 2 years after Online came out? You're looking at GTA 6 has been delayed 4 times. It's going to come out, only be single player. It's going to take another year for Online to come out, maybe. And then whatever other like features that are the sort of heist-like features that are these big killer fucking carrot on a stick dangling, those are going to take another 2 years to come out. So you don't have a finished game until like 3 or 4 years after launch. Like, that's fucking crazy for AAA with the billions of dollars of revenue they have. That's insane, right? Right? Does that make you feel a little bamboozled as a consumer? The lack of euphoria, ragdoll, and intelligent details annoys me with GTA 5, but Red Dead 2 is probably my favorite game, so I can't hate too much. Yeah, look, dude, like I said, I'm not hating on Rockstar. Like, they've made great shit. They have fundamentally changed the industry as a whole permanently because of their acumen as developers and publishers, okay? I'm not disputing that. But when they are going to set a trend, it's kind of just like when Call of Duty does shit. Like, they set a trend and the industry is going to follow. So we have to be very careful with supporting some of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, just because you're excited, like, I get you're excited, but wait. Just wait. Wait till the game comes out. Wait till the reviews come out. Whatever. Wait till we actually know how much game we're getting. We don't even know. We have no idea how much game. I don't think we have a definitive answer if it's only going to be single player. It's getting crunchy. Fuck. Hang on. How about now? Yeah, it's better. Okay. Thank you for that. That's the same reason they pump out DLCs for online and up the prices to where a good car costs $5 million, and you need to own 4 separate buildings to own a specific car, which costs more money, and then you buy cards. Exactly. Now, these are all very well thought out mechanisms for monetization and microtransactions that Rockstar clearly has gotten down to a science, right? Because they made the most successful entertainment product in terms of revenue ever. You're absolutely right that they're going to release 40% of the game first. Yeah. And I don't know if they've said that explicitly, but that's what's going to happen. Like, it just is. And they've delayed the game so many times. It's like, well, why do you think they're delaying the game? You know, what do you think it's going to be like when it comes out at first? They're going to build the plane as they're flying it, just like they did with GTA 5. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. And was that a great experience necessarily? I don't know. I don't know about that. But, you know, it sucks. And I hope, Entity, what you said about indies, we're going to have more Toby Fox likes coming out with games and self-publishing and self-dev, you know, solo dev or small teams. Like, man, I hope so. Like, there are so many good games coming out. There's so many cool people making cool shit. And I hope that the attention shifts away from AAA and more towards them. And the industry sector, the indie sector of the games industry is getting a lot more traction and a lot more of the pie, I think. I think that's been a growing trend. You know, so I think that's great. Like, let's keep that up. Let's keep supporting shit like that. They might delay online more than 6 months, considering Red Dead 2 online flopped. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's quite possible. Yeah. You know, yeah, and then Red Dead 2, I mean, it just further illustrates the point. Like, they didn't learn from GTA 5 and say, okay, well, for the future releases, we're not doing it that way. That piecemeal sort of release, like, that was so bad. Like, That's not the standard, blah, blah, blah. They did it again with Red Dead 2. So this is clearly what they're okay with. Like, this is what they've decided is the way they want to do releases for their games. So we can expect GTA 6. Like, we have enough data to backtest. I think we can expect the same. But so let's on a more positive note, okay? On a more positive note. There are, like I said, a lot of really great games out there that are not necessarily AAA, that did not make $10 billion, trillion. If you have an Epic Games account right now, in the Epic Games launcher, a really great game is free this month. It just went free. It's called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And it's a really great it's an older game. And it's a point-and-click adventure. It's super eerie. It's a really great story with a really cool art. And I highly recommend it. It's free right now. Normally $10, but you can go on the Epic Games Store and get it for free right now. And I really recommend you pick it up. I mean, what do you have to lose? And just try playing it. Try playing it on a spooky night, whatever. If you're in the mood for something like that, it's a really great. And I don't want to spoil anything about it. Like, I don't want to talk about, like, even explain it. But it's just so good. It really is. So dark, so grimy, and so interesting. You probably will never play anything like it. Also, we have this thing I've never played, River City Girls 2, but it's a co-op beat 'em up, and you could have some fun with that too. And once again, that's a more indie developer, right? So these games are both free this month. Highly recommend them. Or highly recommend I Have No Mouth, because I played that. I haven't played the other one, but it seems cool. And then also we have Diablo 4 is having a free time period on Xbox. Call of Duty also has some free weekends coming up for multiple Call of Duty games this month. So these are all things that you could check out and give a shot. Let's end that on a little better note with the game stuff. And by the way, I mean, like I said, there's so many great games. I've been playing Clover Pit. Here, let me just open I've been playing Clover Pit. Look, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for the roguelikes, okay? And because I also don't have a lot of time to like sit and really like get into something, right? So I like playing games that I can kind of leave at any time and it like doesn't matter, because I often do have to do that. So like I like roguelikes and stuff where like the gameplay loop is like pretty short for a run that you do or whatever. So Clover Pit, really cool Balatro-like, except instead of poker, it's slot machines. That's a really cool game. I also started playing Microsoft Jewel for some reason, because I love Bejeweled and it really scratches that itch. I just played it a little bit just to see what it was about. I played Escape the Backrooms a little bit after I watched the Backrooms movie, which is pretty good. Persona 5 Royals now on Game Pass, which is very cool. I want to get into that, but haven't. I played Mecha Chameleon, the new viral friend slop game, which is pretty fun, and I had a good time. I recorded it. I don't know if I'll release it because it's pretty edgy, I'm going to be honest. But Hades 2, also great game. Ball X Pit, great game that I've been playing here and there. And Halls of Torment, another really good game. Dungeon crawler, kind of like Diablo. And Vampire Crawlers, yes, exactly. Vampire Crawlers is like the other one that I've been playing. Really have enjoyed Vampire Crawlers. So excited that they've come out with a sequel to Vampire Survivors. I really, really like Vampire Crawlers. Highly recommend it. And that just scratches my itch, games like that. And then I hop on WoW every once in a while, play hardcore with my friends and die before level 20. But that's pretty much what's been occupying most of my game time. But yeah, guys, I could talk about movies too. There's a lot of stuff about movies. However, I'm really sorry. I have to go AFK for a couple minutes. I have a bunch of stuff going on in the background. I will be right back. Okay, stay right there. Here's the highlight reel, the AFK stream reel. Thoughts on Backrooms movie, in-depth review? I will. When I come back, I will, right after these messages. The number one question Divis gets asked is, what's your address?
I'll give it to you, bro. 1 second.
All right,
Wait,
hang
actually-
on. Oh, okay,
so
I'm
like,
sending
the
it.
thing about snakes, man. So the thing about snakes is if you feed them and you play with them a little bit too much, they regurgitate. So
What?
I'm
Yeah.
putting
So do I.
my address into the chat.
So does my cock.
so if you have a snake, don't play with it right after
Dude,
you eat,
dude,
'cause it will
this-
regurgitate.
Dude, Sam.
Oh, bro. Same.
I put my address in the chat, so feel free to send me sweet ass gifts.
Yeah, I don't see the address. So
Dude, you live at the
I'll
you live
wait.
at 1, dude. That's OG, dude. You're the
Yeah,
OG.
1-star island. They gave you a
Say it out
1-star.
loud,
That
everybody.
Sucks.
This is for the VOD. Say it out loud so the VOD has it.
1-star Island Drive,
Yep.
Miami, Florida. Actually, my buddy lives at Star Island Drive, and
Oh my
you're not there.
God.
I am. What are you
Hold
talking
on.
about, dude? I'm on 1-star Island Drive. You retarded? Can you not read? Let me give you my
Google
Instagram,
Maps.
dude.
Dude, he's being completely
Google Maps fucking helps.
transparent with you, dude.
Said fuck that bitch, I got my diamonds, got my change. I'm the only real motherfucker doing this shit, had to pull up in that range. I don't get no fucks, you
Like sprayed deep and chemicals and shit.
Metal
in
in the, yeah, of course.
Somebody call for a moth?
Yes, I hit John as he kept going invisible,
Dude.
but
was so about to
then
throw
as I
that
was
whole
going
thing in the
down, my
fire.
sword hit his leg.
After he
And
went
then
down,
he,
though,
and then
he got
started failing RP by not going down immediately. and he
Problem
kept-
number one is that John does not have makeup on, and he's supposed to be a vampire.
I just don't see why people are calling for mod when there's already a mod here.
John,
I was trying to eat. Like, I work long hours. I have mod. You're mod. Somebody calls mod, you stand up, say mod. Yeah. So I'll just let you handle this. Okay.
next jet.
God,
how do you wanna play
the
this, John?
best.
Also,
John
just
is
from
the
a
one
safety
who did
standpoint,
the
there's
thing
an
that
axe.
the
So you
mod
guys
is
lost
needed
the axe
for.
privileges, okay? You got a sharp axe on the ground during a battle. Go ahead, John.
Did you get hit
Oh,
before
dude,
you
I
hit
hope there
me?
wasn't a vampire out in these woods.
Okay, so then
Screw
everything
that
you do
shit.
afterwards is automatically discounted.
Tomahawk cross.
They said it in the rule book,
Yeah.
and that's what players
You can
do.
see like
They
the
can't do
confusion
nothing
in
once
John's
they're
face.
down.
That's valid.
Which
yeah.
one was that?
I can pull it out.
Yeah, you should pull out the
Whoever gave him the wicker Panama is a genius.
That's the rule of eminent priority.
The fact that Ben is the problematic vampire here, it's also really funny.
bend it up, bend it up, bend it up, bend it up, bend time.
If it's okay with you, John, we should run this back from the beginning.
You're gonna have a boss that's got twice
Yeah.
as much health now.
The overwhelming popularity of Space Marines is going to kill the IP, all other factions.
I've
that's
never played.
that's
Space
not true at
Marine.
all. What's going to kill the IP are the writers trying to like do what the masses want instead of what the fans who keep buying their miniatures want.
But what you have to understand, Sofa, is that there's a certain level of like, you know, just like with Star Wars, right? Now, do I think the show Andor is peak Star Wars, even though there's no Jedi in it? Of course. But do I also realize that Jedi are the coolest part of Star Wars? Yes. So it's that kind of thing. Like, yes, a great story can exist in that world and franchise without it relying on this like tropey, like big mainstay, the coolest thing about it. But also recognizing that is what is going to probably make new fans and get people interested. And, you know, those big big ticket items like, you know, the bolt gun and the Space Marines and shit like that, like and the chain sword, like you got to know that's what it's all about, you know what I mean? So it gets you in the door, and then you can dive into the more intricate stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But murdering your dedicated fans, like the ones who are into the intricate stuff, by just completely retconning your lore, that will also kill your shit.
No,
It doesn't
that is
matter how
stupid.
Yeah,
many people
that's
come in.
Star Wars has done that by having so
Like, the end of Half-Life Alyx is such a fuck. It's a double fuck you, because not only did they just come out with a VR game instead of Half-Life 3, the ending of Half-Life Alyx does not progress anything at all. So you still get no continuation.
Are you one of those people who thinks you're gonna get a Half-Life 3? That's you're a conspiracy theorist.
You know, Mark Laidlaw wrote the script. The script exists, and
You're
you
a
know,
conspiracy theorist.
Hey,
one day it could happen. They made Source 2 engine. You know, it
I
could
hope
happen.
so. I hope so.
It's
I hope.
terrible. It's like masochism. Like everyone's just so used to getting gaped by Gabe. And
the
at
most
this point, they're just
masochism thing in
wide
gaming
open.
is what's that game people keep investing into?
But they still want more.
Star
Like,
Citizen.
They still want more from Gabe. They're like, please, Gabe, please fuck me some more, please.
Just Googled and found out they offered the Game of Thrones license, but they made Skyrim and said, that's interesting. I didn't know that little tidbit about Skyrim.
Yeah, I didn't either. And
that's
an interesting thing, because who would have wrote a better story in the end? Because Skyrim has a good story as well, in my opinion, especially
Really
considering
good.
the time, like and how comprehensive the game was for the time.
Yeah.
Like 20 looks like a veteran grizzled Colombiano when you do that shit.
Your average bathroom key bumper.
This is his way of like going from cigarettes to vaping. Is like, I can't do coke on the show.
Crazy, Jimmy.
You do need to get the sponsorship from What a Bump and plug it like vaping.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
I mean, there you go. Although we are not Sly Mind is not affiliated with whatabump.com, but if you're interested in sniffable caffeine, that's
this
the
is what
fish tank
Jimmy's
version.
Allegedly doing. He's LARPing,
Hold
being
on.
a cokehead.
Let me see if they posted my review.
Yeah, he's LARPing. Yeah, they posted it at midnight on
He's
4th of July.
And honestly, Jimmy can't
Bro, it's a caffeine
can't do it.
sporting business. You don't think they're
Jimmy
up at
can't
2
afford
a.m.?
coke.
Their web developer's shaking at his fucking computer right now, just approving every review that comes
It
in.
has like late stage arrhythmia. It's like on his deathbed. I better just approve this.
The body of a 26-year-old, the heart of a 94.
Entity, did you see when Jimmy chugged the charisma potion and then tried to Riz Taylor to go do bumps with him?
Yes, I did. Where he's like, whiskey and soda.
All right, listen up, Sergeant Frank Woods, Call of Duty. You had better be watching Sly Elliot do his thing on YouTube. This is some special stuff, Woods out.
Is Joey or me gonna go get an
Chef?
SBA loan? Like it's all stuff that's like so far.
The structure at that company, I heard like from the other people, like Dog Pack 404, they said like, you know, Mr. Beast's biggest dick riders tend to get the best treatment at the company and stuff like that, and the people who tell him no too much get, you know, worse treatment. So I was in this place, we'll call it Studio 2. Let me tell you the corporate hierarchy. Let me paraphrase
here. So I do my pitch, and Hoodie says, you know what? I want you to go shadow some people for the rest of the day. I want you to go work with this team and see how you can contribute to them. So let's break down the positions in the Mr. Beast company. You have C1.
Dude,
C1.
Dude. Dude, you joked about it, Luke, and then he actually did it. Like you were joking about it, and the next slide is him actually showing the corporate hierarchy and apparently the studio layout as well. Oh my god.
Is the head person of that department. So if you're in creative, you're C1. So creative, studio 1, C1. So there's creative studio 2, there's a C1 for that. Creative studio 3, there's a C1 for that. Then ideation, studio 1,
That's crazy,
C1.
dude.
Ideation, studio 2, same thing. They're just levels. They're just like the head honcho of that department. And then within that, you also have a C2 and a C3. I assume C.
Not even evidence for anything.
Like, this is what we're gonna say.
It kind of makes me. Grilled chicken breasts? It's kind of a weird way to phrase that. It kind of makes me picture like a chicken or big fat naked tits. Do you believe in God?
How'd you feel about that? How'd you feel about that? Yeah, garlic parm wings are my like unique. That's my unique choice. For wing flavors, I would usually do buffalo. But if I was feeling crazy, I'd do garlic parm. Garlic parm. It's a tasteful Sigma choice. Thank you. Garlic parm on top. Hey, let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go. I hope those maple barbecue wings are absolute fire, man. Absolute fire. My dog is gorgeous. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people say that. I don't know. He's so like he's very unique looking. Like I don't see a lot of dogs like him. He's a Catahoula, which is a like not a super common breed, especially around where I live, because they're indigenous just to Louisiana. Like that's where they were made. So there's like not a lot of them, I guess. But yeah, he's very pretty. He's very pretty. We say that all the time. He looks so regal all the time. So I appreciate that. He's a doll though. He was upset because it was thunderstorming today. All right, people wanted to hear about Backrooms, right? Let's get into the films a little bit. And that'll probably be the last segment for the night. All right. Let's get into the films. What are we filming? So sorry, I'm just checking all this. I'm streaming on multiple platforms at once, so I'm just trying to like keep an eye on everything. I don't usually do that, but we're doing it with this video, with this show. Good luck to him with America's birthday tomorrow. Yeah, I know. He's going to be pissed. He's just going to be super pissed. They banned fireworks in our neighborhood, so that doesn't become a problem because everyone has a dog in our neighborhood. So hopefully, I mean, I don't know. It's not like, I'm not like anti-fireworks or something. I'm not like a stick in the mud about it, but also like, I don't want my fucking dog freaking out the whole time. You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword. All right, let's talk about Backrooms. Happy birthday to everybody in America. It's everyone's birthday in America. Let's view the original. Ad blockers on. Oh, never mind. I guess we won't view the original because they're gonna get upset about ad block. You know. Sorry. All right, so Backrooms. Some dogs can't hang. Backrooms. I saw it. And it's pretty good. I heard people were saying it was bad, which is making me sad. And then I didn't rush to go see it. It was the last movie I saw out of the 4. And I was like pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a really good movie. Backrooms Everything Must Go edition adds 16 minutes. Ooh. Let's watch that, right? Made by Kane Parsons, who I didn't know this, but also made all the music for the movie, which is super fucking cool. He's the Toby Fox of movie. Backrooms obviously based on a favorite of mine of internet like creepypasta-ness, which is the liminal space, the Backrooms type shit. When that first started like sort of trending a little bit, dude, I would sit down with my friends at night and we would put on liminal space videos, like the montages to that one song by 647 or whatever the fuck his name is. What's his here? I'm outing myself. My Spotify likes right here. Where is it? I think I have yeah, here. Okay. In Stupendo as well. And we would just watch those and we would just make jokes and we just I don't know. It was just, I don't know why it enamored us so much autistically, the Backroom stuff and the liminal space videos. But Kane Parsons actually made the official soundtrack. So he's credited on every single fucking song on the soundtrack, along with the other producer that he worked with, who worked on The Monkey. And Backrooms, well, all that to say, the music was really good in the movie, and I really liked it, which is why I went on Spotify to go listen to it, and then I found that out. But the movie's really cool. Like obviously, I'm already a fan of the ethos, right? But the movie itself does a lot of things that are pretty unique. It's not this what I was really scared of was it was going to be a lot like the Slender Man movie, right? Where they take a thing that if you don't execute it right, it just becomes more horror slop. But there's things about the creepypasta stuff that is interesting and intriguing on its own that if you actually do that justice, you have something really, truly engaging and unique. And that's what Kane Parsons did with Backrooms. Like, he clearly loves the source material and has a deep understanding of the source material and wanted to bring all that essence out in a feature-length film. And I think he executed it very well. And the performances in this movie are crazy, dude. Everyone did a great job. It's eerie, it's a little spooky, it's thought-provoking. It's one of those movies where I think you can watch it multiple times and pick up on different things, which I love. I know not everyone's into that, but I love that. You know, it really makes you, it's the kind of thing, it makes you think about it. It makes you like want to chat with your friends afterwards. Like, oh, what do you think that meant? Like, oh, actually, I think this means this. You know, I just love that kind of shit. And everything was just done really well. Like I said, the music, the performances, the casting, the sets, everything, which I think they did all the sets practical, or at least a lot of it practical, which is really, really cool. A24, man, when we talk about seizing the means of production, right? And we talk about the resurgence earlier of the games industry that we were hoping for, where smaller names are able to make really good substantive things in an industry that is dominated by these big heavy hitters with tons of infinite money, and they just want to do soulless cash grabs. You know, the movie industry gives a lot of hope that that is possible truly for the games industry, because we saw the film industry become very soulless and cash grabby for a good while, and now we have Blumhouse and A24 just swinging for the fences. Every goddamn movie, given, these younger filmmakers a shot to strut their stuff, and it pays off. It seems like it pays off, especially for Blumhouse. I know their margins are insane. I mean, that guy's a genius, especially Blumhouse. Record-breaking numbers of Gen Z going to the movies, right? And they were at a dilemma for a little bit where Gen Z was not. They didn't want to go to the movies, and COVID was especially like, fuck, dude. Like, it was murder. Like, there was a point where it was like, I don't even know if fucking AMC is going to be able to afford to stay open. Like, movie theaters might die. Like, that was in the film industry. That was like a conversation that was going on. You know, it's like, what are we going to do if that happens? Like, it was starting to get to that point. And now, because of the efforts of things like A24 and Blumhouse and shit like that, like, it's revitalized. It's revitalized the industry and the consumer base. And I think that's great. Like, if these studios keep giving truly talented directors and writers a shot to do interesting shit that we haven't seen before, how could you go wrong? You know, and we all win, don't we? Right? We talked about Marvel fatigue and all this kind of shit. Like, oh, we're so sick of the cash grabbing Hollywood blockbuster bullshit. We've seen it all before. Okay. Well, now they're making interesting fucking cool movies, and thankfully people are going to watch them and supporting them. And so they're commercially doing well on top of that, which is awesome, right? It's honestly shocking to me. It really is. Like, I did not have high hopes for Gen Z. I'm sorry. I think I'm Gen Z, actually. I don't know. But I didn't have high hopes that they would want to see good movies because of what seemed like at the time there was such a ravenous desire for schlock, you know. I had Marvel fatigue 10 years ago, but horror is cheap and safe. I think that's true, and I also think that there are things you can do in horror that, you know, I think Backrooms and Obsession are both films. This is a hot take. They're both films that didn't have to be horror movies. They didn't have to have gore. They didn't have to have any kills, and they still would have been unnerving and eerie and spooky and made you kind of want to go to bed with the lights on. I don't think it was a requirement that they had gore and they had kills, even though I'm all for it. Look, if I go to a horror movie, which I'm not a big horror fan, I'm not like one of those like weird people that all they watch is horror movies, because that seems to me, that's a little like, that's a downer after a while. Like, I can't watch tons of fucking horror movies, you know what I mean? Like, it's a downer, it's a bummer after a while. But here and there, I do it sparingly, right? Because I only want to watch the good stuff. I wasn't into slashers that much and shit like that. But so when I go to a horror movie, I'm like, okay, dude, hey, I want to be scared. Like, please scare me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm here for. It's not impossible. It's rare, but it's not impossible. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Just like if I go to see an action movie, I want to see fucking action. Like, let's go for it. Like, I don't want to do a little half measure. Like, let's fucking full on. I want you to go for it. You know what I mean? But Backrooms and Obsession were fucking scary or unnerving or made the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And it had nothing to do with the kills or the gore. It was the psychological, the supernatural, the philosophical, the liminal. You know, these were the sense of loneliness, all these different things that were so interesting and eerie and scary and spooky. And so to say it's horror, yeah, and I agree, like horror and thriller are so closely married. I think I want to see more of that, right? I want to see, like, what can we, like, I think it's impressive if you can scare people without that. Super impressive of a feat, and it's not just jump scares. That's part of the reason I didn't like horror that much for the most part. Is like, oh, it's just fucking jump scares. It all just ends up becoming that, and it's like, okay, you know, I'm fucking rolling my eyes in the theater. But that wasn't the case with these movies, and both of them did things that were really interesting. Both of them were directed by and helmed by young first-time feature filmmakers that are younger than I am, both of them. That makes me feel bad. No, they're younger than I am even, and, you know, in their early 20s, and they're swinging for the fences because they had good ideas. And now film studios are starting to look on the internet, on TikTok, on YouTube for the next big hit, for the next big filmmaker. Like, never would have thought I'd see the day, honestly. Like, that studios would come to their senses and realize there are really good, talented people doing groundbreakingly interesting shit on these other platforms that are not just the nephew of the CEO of Warner Brothers. Oh, let's give them a movie. You know, like that nepotism bullshit. Like let's actually go look for the next auteur, the next fucking big director, the next great writer, because they're not on this old shit. They're not, a lot of them aren't even in film school, or a lot of them are not in Hollywood, or a lot of them, they don't have any industry connections. Their parents didn't work in the industry. They're making like Curry Baker. It's Barker. I was wrong. Curry Barker, you know, he was making fucking comedy YouTube shorts and Instagram reels. And then he made Obsession. You know, like, there are talented people if you really want to look for them and go and seek them out. So I think hope, and it would seem that we're actually trending towards the film studios and the film industry getting wise. And look, if they, oh no, the movie companies are going to start mining all the YouTube and TikTok and all these small creators for talent scouting. Oh no. Like, it's a win-win, isn't it? Right? This is what we wanted. Like, awesome. Here we are. Even something like Iron Lung that Markiplier did. Dude, I love that movie. I saw it twice. Fucking love that movie, dude. It was really good. It was really good. Good filmmakers are out there doing it now in pitch meetings. 100%. Yep, 100%. More horror, less gore. Yeah, I agree. And I like gore, by the way. Like, I like if some gore in a movie can make me go, oh fuck. Like, hey, good job. Great job on the practical effects and makeup artists and stuff like that, and costume design. Like, great job. You know, seriously, I love it. But if not, it's like, okay, you know, like I like being scared by the philosophical, the supernatural, the beyond our comprehension, the cosmic horror, the, you know, that kind of shit. Like that's really I think that's interesting. And Obsession had some of that too. That really freaked me the fuck out. That was the most fucking, can I just say, where he called on the phone, the One Wish support, and then he's like, here, I'll put her on the phone. Yo, dude, I just got goosebumps just saying that and like remembering it and like picturing it. Yo, dude, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That made the hair stand up on the back of my neck in the theater. Fuck that, dude. But it's so good, right? Obsession and Backrooms, these are both great movies. And I really loved Bone Tomahawk. You know, it's funny you say that, because when I said gore, Bone Tomahawk is what was in my head. Because that's a great example of really good gore, right? Like it was done very well. And you're like, oh fuck. You know, like it's one of those movies. And I like, you know, it was a Bone Tomahawk, really interesting, unique movie, interesting, unique premise. I agree. Western horror is super interesting to think about. Yeah, I agree. So seeing this in the film industry gives me hope. Gives me a lot of hope. And I think that can translate into like, you should have hope for the games industry, because I think very easily the same could happen with the games industry. Maybe you're out today, maybe in a little bit, you know, but it could. Primate gore. Oh, like the Primate, the movie, I saw that as well. Yeah, Primate was an example of really good gore when he ripped the guy's jaw off, which was all done practical. I saw behind the scenes. I was like, yo, great job. New fear unlocked. Great job. You know, I was like, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, there was some really good gore in the Primate. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was expecting that to be a nothing movie that I would completely forget about, but there were a few kills that I was like, good job, guys. That was fucked up. I was really fucked up. But the premise of the movie was so funny. I went to the theater with my friends thinking it was just going to be a joke, and we were just going to laugh about it, which there are some funny parts. But 100% agree, the gore made sense, and it built up to violence and then made you wish you didn't see it. That's good gore and horror. Exactly. Exactly. That's such a good way to put it. My eyes itchy, my fucking allergies, fuck. Yeah, it's a really good way to put it. Yeah, I love that kind of shit where you're like, oh no, dude. Like, I wish I didn't just see that. So, you know, I think it's a really great, hopeful tone that we're on right now with the state of things. And I think that it tends to be that the games industry is like a little bit behind the film industry, because it is younger than the film industry and stuff like that, like as far as, you know, how long it's been around. And so, and it tends to follow similar trends we've seen. Less with the music industry. It's tended to follow pretty closely to what the film industry is doing. Follow in step with that. And so I hope that this kind of mentality transfers over to the games industry as well, because then we all win, right? And it's surreal to see the film industry like embrace young creators, give them a shot. It's like a fucking Make-A-Wish, you know. You're like, it's unheard of until just this recently. So fucking cool, dude. Cool trend. Let's keep it up, man, because, you know, film is back, baby. I actually, dude, I agree. And it's like, it's stuff. I was a little with movies. I was a little black-pilled. You know, I was a little black-pilled. And over the past like 2 or 3 years, I'm like, okay, maybe there's hope for us yet, you know? Because I love going to the theater, dude. I love patroning these movies. I love the whole experience. I really do. I'm an AMC Stubs member. I dig it. I dig the whole shebang. You know, I want to go see good movies. And I think everybody does. So sick of what was summer high budget movies being all of theaters. Yeah, it was fucking boring. Boring as shit. Dude, something like The Drama starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. You want it's kind of a thriller. It's a drama, it's a thriller. Kind of. Stuff like that was not in theaters just a couple years ago. Like, because it would never have done well. And now stuff like that's getting a chance at a theatrical release and getting in front of people with real support behind it from the studios, and it's cool to see because there's a lot of filmmakers trying shit again, which is awesome, and not all of it has stuck with me, but they're trying shit, and it's great to see. So yeah, I loved Backrooms. I was more scared in Obsession. Obsession unnerved me probably the most I've been since Hereditary. So, and I don't know, maybe it was just that night for me. Like, it just caught me at a weird, but like I had some of that shit like ingrained in my fucking head, in my brain for like days and days after. Super hair raising, just like eerie shit, dude, in that movie. So well done. Curry Barker did a great job. Absolutely. Knocked it out of the fucking park. So cool to see him putting his friends on. He had his best friend and co-star that's in a lot of his shorts, which, by the way, I've been seeing him on reels and shit and his comedy shit for like 2 years, right? And I think he's pretty, funny, but I would like watch his shit. And so then when I heard that he was directing this movie, I was like, well, what? And I was like, is it a comedy? Like, I was confused, but he did such a good job, and he clearly has range, and it's just great to see. So yeah, I think Obsession was a great movie. Some people said it was a little bland in the filmmaking. I disagree. I think the music was really good. I think the sort of the writing was good. I think the effects were good. There were a lot of practical effects. They shot it on a small budget, I think. So a lot of the stuff they did was just camera tricks and practical effects and stuff like that, and makeup effects. Yeah, I mean, it's like good for them, dude. What a win. We all win when a movie like that does well. And then with Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg flick, kind of on the flip side, not a good movie as a movie, right? It's not. The script is super hokey and cheesy and cliche. There's something to be said about like it harkens back to a more what's the word? It's like, I don't know, like a simpler time where things were more sincere, maybe. I don't know if that, like, it's very like E.T. or it's very like Indiana Jones, like it is, which I know he made both those movies, but it's very much of that tone of just, it's not so nihilistic. It's not dark. It has this sincerity that it, to its core, really retains and is like, it just harkens back to the good old days almost, the attitudes or the way that everything is sort of, the situations are framed, even like it's big. It's very Spielberg. And it's pretty at times. It's interesting, like philosophically. And that's really the big reason to see it. Like Emily Blunt's performances, it might be the best in her entire career so far. And then the philosophical, thought-provoking elements of Disclosure Day. I think if you're into that sort of thing, it's worth seeing. Like, even if you even if some of the parts of the movie are like super cheesy, like I was literally rolling my eyes at a few points, it's not really supposed to be like, there are funny parts of the movie that are intended to be funny. There's other stuff that's not intended to be funny. People in my theater, I was at the LA theater in Universal Studios in Los Angeles, and it was like a packed theater because it's like the second day the movie came out, and people were laughing at parts that were not intended to be funny. It's one of those, you know what I mean? Because the writing is just so on the nose, and it's like so it's overly sincere, I think, to the point of being cheesy at times. And I think we're not used to that anymore. All movies used to sound like that and be like that back in the day, but not anymore, right? So it seems very corny now. But I know what he was going for. It's just like it doesn't work as well for modern audiences to deliver things that way. But like I said, the philosophical and like the scientific, the thought-provokingness, the spiritual, blah, 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 all of it is very interesting. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you know, Disclosure Day may be worth watching. But like I said, be prepared. It's some parts are not so, it's not great. You know, it's not his best work. Okay. Is it a spiritual successor to like Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Yes. So if you're into that, you know, if you're into stuff like that, I don't want to spoil any of these movies at all. So I don't want to go deep into them. You know what I mean? Cause I want people to watch these movies, but, you know, it's new Spielberg. Like I said, Emily Blunt's performances are really fucking great. It's an interesting movie. It's like different. You probably haven't seen a movie that does all this stuff in it before. Like, you know, but just the script is just a little fucking corny. But if you can get past that, it's interesting. Like, it's an interesting watch. It's, you know, I like shit like that. I like science-y, fucking all kinds of shit. So I was told to avoid Disclosure Day. It's fair. If you don't have the time, it's fair. I love when new people you haven't seen get big acting roles. Yes, I think it's awesome. Yeah, Obsession was pretty acting focused. Loved Hereditary, felt very Sam Raimi. Yeah, Hereditary fucking scarred me for fucking my life. And now I never, ever put any limb or part of my body outside of a moving car window. Ever again. And yeah, I think from all these films, there's a lot of people who are involved in all of these are, you know, they're getting a lot of flowers, which is great. Thank you for the cheers, user VR6SD8WN7K. Thank you for the cheers. I appreciate you. Happy 4th of July. God bless America. Am I right? No, I hope you're all doing well. I appreciate that. If you watch Hereditary again, it was a lot of dark comedy elements, which is what felt very Sam Raimi to me. There are some, but there's also a lot of just, I don't know, dude. I was not laughing that much in that movie. I did see it when I was younger. I don't know how old I was. I was probably in high school, actually. I wasn't that young. But still, I was like, oof, fuck. But yeah, I'm sure if I know like the stuff with the mom and the dad near the end and stuff is like probably very funny if I watch it back again. Happy birthday, America, July. The 4th be with you. The 4th be with you, July. So that was Backrooms, Obsession, Disclosure Day, and Supergirl, kind of the same as Disclosure Day. Really cheesy sometimes with the writing again. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's writing some of this shit, but like the dialogue is just, it's kind of wild. Even the CG is like just straight up bad in certain shots of Supergirl. I loved the Superman movie that just came out that James Gunn made. And now with James Gunn kind of at the helm of the DC stuff, I think he's doing a great job. I loved that Superman movie, but James Gunn did not make Supergirl, okay? And you should really be warned of that, going into it. It is not going to be like the Superman movie. It just isn't. And it gives it a good college try, and there's some funny bits, there's some interesting bits, there's some cool bits. But like, there's also some stuff that doesn't make any sense. There's plot holes, which I'm not usually a nitpicker of plot holes and shit, but there really are just some things that don't really make that much sense to me, or thematically just kind of fall flat because it's sort of contradicted in other places in the movie. Just odd. It's like fun. It's fun to watch. Like at times, especially like Lobo's a really funny character because for some reason they have Jason Momoa back as a different character that isn't Aquaman in the DC universe. I don't know what the fuck's up with that. But they did it. And I don't know. I don't know why they did that. And what's her name? Alcock. That's her name. Elisa Alcock. What's her name? Supergirl. I'm not making this up. Or Millie Alcock. I mean, that's an unfortunate last name. But I personally did not like her performance. I didn't connect with her as Supergirl, and that sort of made the movie difficult. You know what I mean? Honestly, like I wasn't impressed like I was with what's his name? David Corenswet, who embodied Superman, right? I just wasn't in it as much with Supergirl. And there's just a lot of times where she plays the character very like sort of emotionally detached, right? Which is like kind of the point in the character, like without giving anything away. Like she does have some walls up like that, but so like I understand it's for the sake of the character, but it kind of diminishes the impact of a lot of stuff because the character's like supposed to be emotionally detached from it. So then it all just kind of feels like that. And then you kind of feel like that as the viewer, right? And you're like relating to her a little less. Also, her being emotionally detached, or her, like I said before, having certain opinions or certain things she does or doesn't do, doesn't really make any sense and isn't explained in a way that makes it seem reasonable based on what we know about her, because this is all we know about her. This is the first movie she's in. She had a very brief moment in the Superman movie with David Corenswet, had a little cameo. But we haven't been around this character much, and then when we do get the backstory, it still doesn't really explain why she's acting the way she is exactly. And like, yeah, I don't know. It just also this movie, nothing to me, it seems like, happens in this movie that matters that much. Doesn't really have a effect on anything that I can tell. Like, just very, very blah, ultimately. Like, it's just, if you skip this movie, you literally will not miss anything at all. Like, you won't, in the next Superman movie or whatever, like, I don't think you're going to be lost because you didn't watch this movie. It's not one of those situations. Like, nothing that impactful happens in this movie. It's just kind of Supergirl going on a side quest, honestly. But it's a whole movie. So that's such a shame. People have been evil gooning to her for months. Yeah, I know. It's sad. And I don't even think she's attractive also. She has like she looks like a kid. Like she looks like way too young. I don't think she is young, but like that young, but like she looks like a child face. She's 26. And yeah, I just didn't like her, like the way she played it. I just didn't. Which is probably her fault. I mean, like, fucking, that's a direction thing. Do you want to see a new Batman or Pattinson's in this universe? Yeah, I mean, Batman 2 is coming. The Batman 2, right? It's coming out. They are filming it or are probably just wrapping filming. I'm excited for that. I am. I'm excited for the next Batman movie. I love Robert Pattinson. I'm going to watch anything he's in. He's just like me for real. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the new Spider-Man. I know I was just talking about superhero Marvel fatigue, but I'm going to watch the Spider-Man. I like the Spider-Man movies. Okay. I haven't seen the majority of the Marvel shit. I haven't. I've seen like the important ones, and I could not keep up even at the time when it was at the peak. Like I just couldn't. I'm like, there's fucking 2 or 3 coming out every year. I can't watch all of these. The fuck. But yeah, I'm excited for the new Batman. And does he have to be in the Superman universe though? I do think it's interesting that they made Superman and Batman very young though, around the same age. You know, did they do that on purpose because they want them to meet up at some point and then it won't be weird because there'll be a weird age gap? Seems intentional to me. I thought that at the time when they had David Corenswet as the lead for Superman. I was like, oh, okay, they're both like the young versions of the superheroes, you know, which is an interesting time period for both of those heroes when they're younger in their careers as superheroes. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that. And I think we saw like, I don't think the problem with DC was that people don't care about DC heroes. Bro, Superman and Batman are some of the most popular fucking superheroes in the entire world, and Superman was like the first fucking superhero. So people give a shit, trust me. But they weren't, you know, like the Zack Snyder shit was not it, bro. It was not it. And I think for a little bit that was mistaken as, oh, no one gives a fuck about DC. DC just couldn't get it right. WB like just couldn't get it right. And now with James Gunn at the helm, he's doing it all right. He's doing a great job, in my opinion. He's knocking it out of the fucking park. He understands the characters very well. He got Superman, as Tom just said, very comic accurate. And I agree though, the Batman is very dark and realistic though. Is it darker and more realistic than the Dark Knight? I actually don't know the answer to that though. You know what I mean? I think Batman is, and this is the thing, I think that spurred DC and Warner into thinking everyone wanted dark, gritty DC is because Dark Knight did so well, as it was so grounded in reality. And then the studios went, oh, they want dark DC. Okay. That's not the point. Batman is able to pull that off. You know, Batman is the dark, brooding superhero. Like, that's like his whole thing. Even in the Justice League, he's just like edgy for the sake of it. Like, he's so like over the top sometimes. Like, he's so edgy. He's so dark and brooding and emo. Like, that's his thing. Like, that's always been the thing. You know, Gotham's always been very like seedy and dangerous, and that's, you know, so it's always been a thing. There's always been very like adult themes and stuff like that in Batman, like not for the faint of heart type shit, you know? So like, I think that's appropriate. Whereas Superman is like, that's not Superman. Like, we don't. So I think Warner Brothers got that wrong very deeply and fundamentally about what what made Dark Knight interesting and what made it good, and then how to do future DC stuff. I think it gave a bad like impression, and they kind of misread that, because let's not forget, fucking Christopher Nolan directed the Dark Knight trilogy. He's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to put the source material in the hands of people who want to do right by it, which James Gunn absolutely does, and he really knows the characters, and I think he is. Dark Knight seemed more mature to me, but I'm not the best reference. That's because the Batman takes place right as Bruce is starting his career. Yeah. The Batman with Robert Pattinson, like, it's right when he's starting, and it's interesting. So I'm open to them doing the crossover, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't. But would it be cool? Maybe, if they did it right. I just think we're a little fatigued from the... I mean, they really forced it with the Justice League and the fucking Batman v Superman. Like, they forced it. It was too rushed. They wanted to have their Endgame moment, their Infinity War moment, like Marvel, and it was just too forced. It was too rushed. There was not enough developed on those characters. It didn't work, right? So we don't have to rush it with the crossover shit. Although I do think there's a lot of room to do it way better, like do it way more justice, no pun intended. I do. But we'll see, you know? We don't have to rush it. Like, I'm totally fine with us just getting really great standalone films with these characters from DC and just letting it be for a little bit, and organically and at a sustainable pace building up to something like Justice League or Batman versus Superman. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine with that. We can take our time. We did not get Endgame overnight. They had been priming that. Kevin Feige and crew had been priming that shit and teasing that for fucking like the better part of 10 years in the making, right? I think it was almost exactly 10 years, maybe a little over. So we can let it simmer, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in any rush, but I am going to see the movies. Like, they have my support, right? That's why I went to see Supergirl, even though I wasn't that excited for it. I still went to go see it. I gave it a shot. Okay. Not my cup of tea. Totally fine. Maybe I'm not the target demographic. Whatever. I don't know. Although I did like Lobo. And I like that it's sci-fi also. That I did like about Supergirl. And I was very pleasantly surprised by that it was not set on Earth. Spoiler, I'm sorry. But honestly, that might make you go see the movie. Just, I'm throwing you a bone of like something that I thought was cool. Saying something positive. But yeah, I think the fact that it was set in space and it was like sci-fi was really cool. And I actually think they did the character designs of the creatures and stuff very well also. I think it did it very well. And I think the creature designs were very interesting and unique. And it did not remind me of like Star Wars or something. It felt like its own thing. And I thought that was very creative. And they did a good job on that. And that is what I will say. Yeah, so those are the 4 movies. Do I want to talk about Obsession and like Backrooms more? Maybe get more into it? Maybe. But I also want people to go see them. And I don't want to spoil anything. I also don't want to beat a dead horse. Like, I think that my big takeaway from those 2 movies is like the trend of the industry that I'm seeing, which is really great. So I'm hoping we get more of that. Obviously, I like both the movies because they're fucking good movies. I don't understand the hate that Backrooms is getting. So I think they did a great job. The performances were great. The fucking music was great. The fucking source material is great. The fucking writing is pretty good. Kane Parsons did a fucking great job, especially for a first-time feature film director. Like, what is there to complain about? But it is a movie that is Obsession, arguably Obsession, Disclosure Day, and Backrooms. These are movies that... Here's what I think it is. If you had to put a gun to my head, I think a lot of people walk away from movies saying, well, that was dumb, when the ending is like a cliffhanger, or it's like a non sequitur, or it's like it's abrupt, or it doesn't tie everything up in a little bow. There's no denouement, like, you know, there's no epilogue, like there's nothing that's like, and here's what happened after. Like there's none of that. It leaves you hanging to draw whatever conclusion you want, right? Backrooms is like that. Obsession kind of like that, but less so than the others. Disclosure Days like that. And I think a lot of moviegoers do not enjoy that. They don't like to use their imagination. And then they get very frustrated and angry, and then they say the whole movie's bad because the ending was like not satisfying to them. That's my read on it, right? And I think that's probably why people didn't like Backrooms, if anything, because it really just, you know, it just fucking pulls the ripcord at the last minute on you, and then the credits roll, and you're like, fuck. And I do think that frustrates people, and I see that a lot with various movies, and then people are like, oh, the whole movie's bad because I didn't like the last 30 seconds. It's like, give me a break, dude. You know, but I would chalk it up to that. I prescribe to it's about the journey, not the destination, right? So I don't care about the ending. I care about fucking everything before that. You know what I mean? But that's just me. I understand if, you know, you're in it for a different reason. Man of Tomorrow. I didn't realize that they were already so far along on this. Oh yeah, I saw set photos from this. He's gonna be in the suit. He's gonna be in the suit. That's interesting. That's interesting. Are they gonna be older? He looks like he has makeup on to be older. I'm sorry, I'm digressing a lot with the new Superman movie.
I think he's Mr.
On that note, maybe it was just clickbait. Awesome. Oh, that's what we love to see. Yeah, it kind of almost seems like he's like, am I crazy? Like it seems like he's got makeup on to make himself look, he's like yoked. So is this going to take place when they're older, or what? Interesting. You know, are they going to be older versions already? We're skipping time already, because he looks older. I don't know. But yeah, that's really, honestly, I don't want to cuck, but that's like kind of all I have to say. I mean, I don't know, like if I don't know if I'm missing anything about the movies and stuff. I mean, like I said, I feel like I didn't talk enough about Backroom, but I also I don't want to I don't want to do the whole like scene by scene fucking breakdown of everything, and I also don't want to spoil anything. But they're both eerie, spooky movies that give me goosebump, and are very well done, and set a really good precedent for the industry. I think I want to see more internet stuff, more like Skinwalker, Channel 48, or is that what it's called? The horror, the analog, like more analog horror, Backrooms, Liminal Spaces, maybe try Slenderman again, Jeff the Killer. Like, let's just try, you know, just do interesting shit. There's so much interesting creepypasta stuff on the internet that I think a lot of Gen Z grew up on, and that was what was scaring them, not Freddy and Jason. So tap into that. Let's tap into that. Let's throw some money at these young directors that grew up on that shit. Let them fucking run wild. Do a Skinwalker movie. Do it. Like, there's some of that shit that's so fucking eerie to me. You know what I mean? So I would like to see more stuff like that, because that's what I grew up thinking was scary. Make a Marble Hornets movie. Go get the guys who made Marble Hornets right now and give them money and tell them to make a movie. That's what I hope happens next here. Entity says, thanks for the stream tonight. Your points on the tech industry and AI keeping us out of recession is a part of an industry I don't see. And you had a lot of good points. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm deeply embedded in that industry in my day-to-day work, and I feel very strongly about a lot of that stuff because I'm seeing it play out like in real time, even in small to medium businesses. not just enterprise, So it's coming from a real place on my end. And I don't want to doom, and I hope none of this came off as dooming. Like, I'm not dooming. The takeaway should be, it's not doom and gloom, but it's like, let's be honest about what's going on. Let's address it, and let's figure out, like, is this good? Is this bad? Should we be supporting this? What should we do? What should we be watching out for? We don't want to get rugged. We don't want to get rug pulled. You know what I mean? So I think keeping these things top of mind, understanding that we do have a choice of what we're supporting or what we're engaging with, and also that we also have a choice of what our mindset is, if we're going to remain positive or not, or if we're just going to doom. Because there's the black pill, there's nothing at the end of that tunnel, man. That doesn't make you feel any better. But, like, you got to be informed, and you have to be making informed, educated decisions. And especially as a consumer, because you're voting with your dollars in capitalism, right? Those are your votes, right? So, it's just all stuff that's, and also, like, hey, there's some free games that you should go play. There's some good movies you should go see. Like, let's talk about it, So I want it to be like and this was a little all over the place for the first stream, but I want to do this weekly at minimum, at least once a week, kind of near the end of the week, recapping. Here's a bunch of shit that piqued my interest throughout the week that I have thoughts on, that I haven't seen other people talk about as much, like blah, 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 and just kind of go over it. You know what I mean? And like, oh, I saw this movie, I'm playing this game, like, let's talk about that. Like, I don't know, just fucking shooting the shit, have a little discussion. I think it's a great format. I love getting to chat and see people's thoughts and, like, talk about shit and hash it out. And I think it's cool. So I'd like to do more of it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting and watching and listening. A Siren Head movie would be tight. That's exactly the wavelength, dude. You came up with such a better, like, niche example. Siren Head is so fucking weird and unnerving, dude. I love that. I'm very second screen through the week doing life stuff, and a combo like this is better than a podcast, so keep it up. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm very second screen as well throughout the week. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that feedback, and yeah, I definitely want to keep doing it. I think a little weekly town hall, you know what I mean? Like that's I would love that, like, let's all meeting of the minds, hash shit out. What do we think about, XYZ topics? You know what I mean? What's the pulse, that's going on? Let's recap also, because there's shit I missed throughout the week too that I'm kind of catching up on too, and, like, diving a little deeper in on. Sometimes I just bookmark stuff that I see so that I can talk about it later. Like, so I'm doing that now. I'm, like, saving up a bunch of bookmarks, and I'm like, I'm not even going to watch all of that, or I'm not even going to read the whole article yet. I'm going to wait until the stream and get the live reaction, you know what I mean? Or sometimes I will think about it ahead and, like, write some stuff about it, write some thoughts, and then, so I'm doing that more too, and, like, throughout the week. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I'm probably I want to be clipping this. This is on Twitch. This is on YouTube. It's going to be clipped. It's going to probably become other standalone videos, maybe shorts and reels and shit like that. So keep an eye out. And yeah, I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Happy 4th of July. Please do not blow your fingers off. Don't blow your digits with the fireworks, and stay safe. Drink responsibly, please. No drinking and driving, please. Stay cool, because it's a scorcher out there. And happy 250th birthday, America. Very awesome shit. America, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? It's the great American experiment is never over. It's still ongoing. Yes, we have a lot of things that we need to work on, as does every country, but I'd still rather live here than anywhere else, no matter what. And I do love this country for what it was built on and what it stands for. Yes, there is corruption, and yes, there is a lot of problems. But I look elsewhere, and I don't see anyone doing it as well. You know, not really. Not anywhere that I can move to or want to move to, frankly. And so, you know, I think we're going to be all right. You know, I think we have all the building blocks, and I think that we're going to make it no matter what. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm going to hold on to a mortar for the slime. Please do not do that. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, my dog's going to be freaking out tomorrow. That's all tomorrow's going to be for me. Like, yeah, happy 4th of July. Your dog's going to piss himself. And is barking the entire time. Happy 250th. We did it, GG. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Denmark is doing okay, but no guns. Yeah, I thought of that as I was saying it, and then I was like, no guns. I was like, that's boring. Boring. Also, Denmark could never work in America. Like the way they do things, because the population difference, the cultural difference, all that kind of stuff, you know. And you know, I have some interesting thoughts about that. I won't get into it on this stream, but maybe the next one I want to talk about what I did learn about America during my cross-country road trip across the whole country for over a month that I was on the road. I learned a lot, and I learned even more so just how amazing the country is firsthand. I think there's that saying, if you want to hate America, you watch the news. If you want to love America, you drive across it. And that's absolutely true. And I think a lot of people from across the pond are learning the same thing as they're here for the World Cup. And I ran into some of the Brits and the Aussies and the Canadians, and they were loving it. They were having a fucking blast. And I think I know why. But that is going to be a topic for another time. We're going to table that. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We're going to see you on the next one. Tune in next week as the future continues, because the future is now. Something like that. I'm working on it. We're working on it, but the future is now. And in the future, a week from now, I will be streaming The Future Is Now again, then now. Good night. Happy 4th. See ya. TSA set up a safe ranch storage for World Cup tourists. I don't even know what that means. I'm going to have to Google. All right, now I have homework. Now I have to Google that when I get off. All right. I don't even. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I gotta go. I'm starving.